3:42 p.m. local time, Taiwan Strait. A fine haze floats just above the sea, sunlight fractured into thin gold lines. On the horizon, the USS Higgins, an Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer, holds steady on course 085, speed 18 knots. She's running a freedom of navigation patrol routine, lawful and watched by every radar station on the Chinese coast. Inside the Combat Information Center, the hum of electronics fills the air. Green scopes pulse in rhythm with the heartbeat of the ship's SPY-6 radar. Then a blip appears, small, deliberate, and closing fast from the west. New surface contact, the radar operator reports. Bearing 272, range 9 miles, speed 21 knots and climbing. The officer of the deck leans in. Tag it. Track Sierra 058. Possible type 52D. That call changes everything. The Type 52 Dilu Yang 3 is no fishing trawler. It's one of the PLA Navy's frontline destroyers, bristling with YJ-18 anti-ship missiles, HHQ-9 SAMs, and a 130mm gun capable of leveling a small vessel in one salvo. And right now, it's not sailing parallel, it's turning directly toward Higgins. On the bridge, the mood tightens. The helmsman's knuckles whiten on the wheel. The air smells faintly of ozone and coffee gone cold. Combat bridge, the captain says over comms. Confirm intercept vector. Intercept confirmed, comes the reply. CPA 2 to 100 yards and shrinking. 200 yards less than the length of 2 football fields. For warships displacing over 9,000 tons, that's a handshake at knife range. Hail them, the captain orders. The bridge-to-bridge transmission goes out, voice clear and firm over VHF. Unidentified Chinese naval vessel, this is United States warship Higgins conducting lawful transit in international waters. Alter course immediately to avoid unsafe maneuvering. Silence. They try again, this time in Mandarin. Still nothing. The static hisses like a held breath. Back in CIC, the ship's electronic warfare suite wakes up. The SLQ 32-volt 7 begins sampling frequencies, listening for hostile radar. A faint ping returns narrowband surface search. Low power, definitely not civilian. They're painting the Higgins now. Combat to bridge. Contact is scanning us. No fire control tone yet. The captain nods once. Maintain ROE posture. Log everything. Every second is documented. Time, heading, bearing, radar, pulse width, signal strength. If this goes south, those records become evidence. On deck, sailors move with controlled precision. The 5-inch Mark 45 gun slews a few degrees starboard, just enough to be seen from the Chinese bridge. A silent message, we see you too. The ocean around them feels smaller by the minute. The sound of the sea against the hull fades beneath the rhythmic thump of electronics and the quiet, clipped voices of professionals doing a job that might suddenly define an international headline at 3:43 p.m. The radar plots an acceleration, jump 25 knots, then 26. The vector tightens. It's no longer parallel navigation, it's a combat intercept profile. CPA now 180 yards, CIC reports. Time to CPA, 2 minutes. Every sailor on watch feels the invisible line tightening. There's no shouting, no panic, just that electric calm before things either break apart or break open. Somewhere beyond the bridge windows, the Chinese destroyer's bow cuts white water toward them. It hasn't spoken a word. The Higgins doesn't turn away. Hold course, the captain says. We're not moving first. And as the radar sweep rolls over again, the silent duel between presence and provocation begins, steel to steel, one heartbeat away from the edge. 3:44 p.m. local time. Inside the Combat Information Center of the USS Higgins, the red glow from radar consoles paints faces in shifting light. The air feels heavier now, charged like a storm about to break. The SPY-6 display updates every 2 seconds, and each sweep shows the same thing: no course correction, no slowdown. The Chinese destroyer is coming straight on. Contact closing CPA 185 yards. Time to intersect 1 minute 50 seconds. The captain's reply is quiet, steady. Bridge. Copies. Maintain course and speed. Execute ROE posture step 2. ROE Step 2. Posture without provocation. On the open deck, the 5-inch Mark 45 gun begins a slow, deliberate rotation toward the incoming vessel. Its barrels lift just enough to be visible through binoculars. Not threatening, just a reminder. The mount stops with a low hydraulic hiss that every sailor aboard has learned to recognize as a warning before words. The Chinese destroyer Liu Yang III hull number, blurred by spray, shows no sign of turning. Her bow is pointed directly at Higgins' starboard quarter, her twin radar masts sweeping like insect antennae. Over comms, CIC picks up a pulse-train narrowband short interval, targeting radar, combat to bridge. They've gone active surface search, same band as their Type 364 radar. Copy, mark it, and record. The SLQ 32 volts 7 electronic warfare suite logs every frequency spike. Data scrolls across the monitor, pulse width, repetition rate, amplitude. It's technical sterile, but everyone in the room knows what it means. They're being painted. Bridge, they're scanning our superstructure. The captain exhales through his nose. They want to see how close they can get before we blink. At 3:45 p.m., the CPA drops again 160 yards. That's the width of a football field. In open ocean, that's nothing. Deploy helo, the captain orders. Aft deck, flight operations. The MH-60R Seahawk tail number, Romeo 52, spins to life. Rotor wash whips salt water across the deck as the bird lifts off, tilting east to flank the oncoming destroyer. CIC feeds telemetry to the helo's sensor pod. Maintain altitude 2 to 100 feet. Optical scan only. No overflight. Within moments, the Seahawk's forward-looking infrared camera locks on. On the Chinese vessel's bridge crew, shapes flicker through the haze helmet's binoculars movement near the main gun mount. Two sailors stand at the rail filming with phones. They know they're being filmed too. Helo to Higgins, visual confirmed. Weapon covers removed on main gun crew at stations. No elevation yet. Copy, the captain replies. Continue orbit 1 mile radius. Keep recording. The helo banks, left cutting a slow circle. Sunlight flashes off its belly, a silent mirror to the destroyer's steel. Down below, the Chinese ship doesn't slow. Wake foam boils behind its stern turbines straining. The two ships are now less than 150 yards apart. One gust of wind, one misread helm order from collision. Bridge to bridge, call again, the XO says. The radio operator transmits on both channels, English and Mandarin. Unidentified Chinese naval vessel, this is United States warship Higgins, conducting lawful transit in international waters. You are creating an unsafe situation. Alter course immediately. Seconds pass. Nothing. Then, static breaks. U.S. Navy vessel, you are entering Chinese-administered maritime zone. Alter your course immediately. The voice is flat. Rehearse the exact phrasing Beijing's Ministry of Defense uses for press releases. The crew exchange glances. Everyone knows what that means. The encounter is being scripted for propaganda, not safety. Maintain heading, the captain says. We'll give them the footage they want and the evidence we need. At 3:46 p.m., the Seahawk flashes a green laser across the destroyer's bridge windows. Non-lethal, unmistakable. The beam dances for 3 seconds, then cuts out. The Chinese vessel hesitates. Wake pattern shifts. Bow angle drifts. 5 degrees starboard. Speed drops from 26 to 21 knots. Contact altering course, CIC reports. CPA increasing 170 yards and widening. The radio crackles again, tone softer now. U.S. Navy vessel maintain distance. You are near Chinese waters. The captain nods. Bridge copies. Log full exchange. Continue holding course. For a moment, everything is still. The humming radar, the rhythmic chop of the Seahawk overhead, the deep, steady rumble of the destroyer's engines beneath their boots. 2 ships, 2 nations, 1 narrow stretch of sea. And for now, neither one blinks. 3:48 p.m. local time. The sea between the 2 destroyers lies calm again, but calm never means safe. Both vessels now move in parallel 400 yards apart. Too close for comfort, close enough for history. On the Higgins Bridge, the captain's tone drops back into routine. All stations maintain course and record final bearings. The Combat Information Center confirms Liu Yang III has slowed to 20 knots and stabilized on a reciprocal heading. The immediate threat is over, but every second of it, every radar pulse, every radio syllable, every flicker from the Seahawks infrared feed is being archived. A digital chain of custody ready for Washington, ready for the world. The Seahawk circles once more, gathering the last visuals before heading back to deck. Rotor wash ripples across the darkening water as the helicopter lands with surgical precision. Crew members secure the blade's power-down systems and offload terabytes of sensor footage. The pilots exchange a brief glance, no words needed. They know what they just captured could headline tomorrow's briefings. 3:50 p.m. The Higgins maintains speed and bearing. On the Chinese destroyer's bridge, binocular lenses glint, watching the American ship fade slightly eastward, neither side waves. The silence feels deliberate, a controlled ending to a near collision that neither can afford to escalate. Combat verify last contact log. Logged and encrypted, sir. Full recording from 342 to 349. All frequencies captured. The captain nods. Good. Send copy to 7th Fleet Command. Priority 1. Above them, clouds begin to thicken the horizon, blurring into gray. Out here, no one claps, no one cheers. The victory is measured in restraint, not aggression. For the sailors aboard Higgins, the tension doesn't vanish, it just compresses into fatigue. But professionally, quietly, they know today they held the line. Because this wasn't just a random intercept. It was another move in a long-running game that stretches across the Indo-Pacific. For months, Beijing has been testing boundaries shadowing U.S. destroyers in the South China Sea, blocking Filipino patrols at Scarborough Shoal, buzzing Japanese airspace, and now driving a Type 52D within a few hundred yards of an American warship in the Taiwan Strait. Each maneuver stops just short of war, but never short of provocation. Military analysts call it gray zone warfare pressure without trigger aggression, without fire. To the untrained eye, it's posturing. To anyone inside the Combat Information Center, it's a live experiment in deterrence management. The PLA Navy learns how far it can push before America reacts. And the U.S. Navy learns exactly how to record, document, and expose it. That's why ships like Higgins carry more than missiles. They carry cameras, encrypted data links, and lawyers on speed dial. In modern conflict, evidence is as valuable as ordnance. A single high-definition recording can win the diplomatic war long before a shot is fired. By 3:55 p.m., Higgins has widened separation to 1 nautical mile. The Chinese destroyer drops off radar 10 minutes later, retreating west toward the mainland. Officially, nothing happened, no collision, no shots, no casualties. But unofficially, another chapter just entered the logbook of the U.S.-China rivalry. Hours later in Washington, analysts replay the footage. Every maneuver, every decibel of radio chatter becomes part of a larger pattern. A pattern showing that the world's flashpoints aren't fought with torpedoes anymore, but with patience, professionalism, and proof. So here's the question for you. When a foreign destroyer drives straight at an American warship in international waters, should the Navy push back harder or keep playing the long game of measured restraint? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We read every one. If you found this breakdown of real-world naval pressure tactics compelling, hit like and subscribe to stay updated. And if you want to go a step further, join the fleet. You'll get loyalty badges, priority replies, and help us bring more true maritime stories to the surface. Because out here in contested seas, where silence speaks louder than gunfire, the strongest weapon isn't always a missile. Sometimes it's discipline, sometimes it's proof, and sometimes it's knowing exactly when not to blink.